It's about that time. You're rocking with your boy Damo Unleashed and Sky Black on the Nashville Caveman podcast. Stay tuned.
Hey, what you got in that bag? Just know that I love. Just know that I love. I gotta turn up this function like I'm in the Lotus and punch it. All I'm gonna ask is stay in your lane and you won't be food for my luncheon. I'm coming up out of the dungeon, cooking up plans to make something from nothing. And since I secured the bag, it's time to do math, so I'ma keep hustling. I thought I had lost my way or something. I am not feeling what they say is busting. They keep us trapping this way, disgusting. If you so happen to catch me flexing, I could be killing the stressful day. But learning how to install some chromic crystals on the Escalade. Matching the arm that's on my sternum. I am for the sake of the people. Grabbing my Glock and pray to the Lord, cause not everybody tryna be peaceful. I still hope we set the stage for showing them how it's supposed to be. So those that's close to me won't have to ask, hey, what you got in that bag? Just know that I love. Just know that I love. Hey, what you got in that bag? Just know that I love. Just know that I love. Hey, what you got in that bag? Let me explain what I'm talking about. Had a joint called down about it. Letting these loud mouths know how to move without sound. Best if we don't even shout out. Midwest, east, west, down south. Till we get even or even above. Till then we gon' opt out. Let's go. And educate on the backside. Folk gotta act right and they won't backslide. Just put it together no matter the weather, my brother. So hey, if you dealing with vices then you and it's cutting you up like against you, put it on chill for real, or they gon' just use it against you. You got in that bag. Quiet water.
What is going on, everybody, man? Welcome to the Nashville Caveman podcast. I am one half of your host, Damo Unleashed, man. Welcome to this fine, good weather Tuesday. Weather's nice out right now, man. But
Absolutely.
I'm going to take the time right now to roll out the red carpet for a good friend of mine who was like a brother. So the floor is now yours.
Man, shout out to everybody that woke up today, Tuesday. It's a God Tuesday, right? God bless. Tuesday's the favorite day of the week because it is the Nashville Caveman podcast. So, I apologize for y'all from listening last week. I had some emergencies I had to take care of. Life be lifing sometimes, right?
Man, it like for me the week before, so trust me, I get it.
Yeah, so we try our best to bring y'all 52 Tuesdays a year, but that's not guaranteed. It's probably a little bit insurmountable, so we don't do that. But I'm glad that y'all are here with us today. Tonight, the D-Bling Radio Show will be brought to you by RCW, Redneck Championship Wrestling in Illinois. This Saturday, me, JDB, Carnage Michaels, Classic Man, we will be in Illinois, plus your other favorite Redneck Championship Wrestling superstars will be there in Innsville, Illinois. That is Innsville, Illinois. This Saturday, April the 11th, your world champion will be there defending against the owner of the company, Raging Redneck. Ooh, come on now. The owner of the company. So he saw what I did to the Giant last month. And the smartest thing he could do is wake up in the middle of the night and say, I want to be next. So cool. If you want to be next, that is absolutely cool or whatever. So yeah, tune in tonight. Let's listen to some good music. Let's get ready for Saturday. And, I'm just happy that I made it this Tuesday. How you doing, Mr. Damo?
Man, speaking of the NCAA tournament was last night, right?
Yeah, man. So if I could chime in just for 1 second, right? Gino Auriemma, I did not know he had been coaching them since 1985. That man has been coaching the women's UConn women's basketball team for 41 years. Congratulations. Wow. Do we know anybody in any profession that's been in any place for 41 years? That's a lot. Then to be a coach is a lot. And then to be coach of a D1 school is a lot. But it's crazy how the situation with South Carolina is like they dominated UConn and then they get to who they play. UCLA, was it UCLA they played?
Yeah, UCLA wiped the floor with.
And I was just like, Jesus Christ, like I don't even think UConn could have beat UCLA. You know what I'm saying? So congratulations to UCLA, congratulations to South Carolina for making it there. But man, that was letting you know women's basketball, man, it's coming along. And that girl number 51, Jesus, was she like 6'5" or something? Like she was the tallest thing on the court, 6'7", the tallest thing on the court. Woo! Where did they find her from? What tree did she grow out of? You know what I'm saying?
Man.
Congratulations to her.
And congratulations to Michigan. Because Michigan, they beat UConn last night 69-63 in the men's National College Basketball Championship game.
Yes.
So congratulations to them too.
Yes, absolutely.
Most people didn't think it was going to be as close as it was, but it was closer than what people thought.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah, that was a much better championship game than the women's. UCLA was just too big, too strong, too quick, too everything. They was just on point. Let's put it that way.
Yep, and I think the last time Michigan won was when they had the Fab Five.
No, remember they lost there. Remember when Chris Webber called that timeout? And he got
that's right.
So if they did win, it was prior to that. But no, the one that. Mm-hmm.
I think they won one, but they lost one. They could have won back-to-backs, and when he called that timeout, it cost him. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, he didn't know he was out of timeouts. He got to take the technical season. Yep. But again, congratulations to him. I ain't never been a D1 student, so I don't know how it feels to train, go through the season, go through the March Madness. You know, that's, God, what, 4 rounds plus the championship? Like, that's a lot of games that you're playing.
Actually, 5 rounds.
Okay,
because
5 rounds.
Remember, I can't remember if it's 64 or 62 teams, but there's a play-in match right before the tournament gets started for one of the 16 seeds. So I know it's a match before that, and so you got that. Then you got the first round, then the 32, Sweet 16, Elite 8, Final 4. And so actually, I think it's even more than that.
Yeah.
I think it's 32 is the first round. So it's 32, that's the first round. Second round is the Sweet 16. Third round is the Elite 8. Fourth round is the Final 4, and then the championship game. So if you consider the championship game part of it, that's 5, plus that play-in game right before the tournament starts. So it's really about 6.
Yeah. So imagine your odds. You play the games, then you one of the teams that's in the play-in, so you have to play your butt off just to get into the bracket. And then when you get into the bracket, you're the lowest seed, so you're playing the number 1 seed. Like, Jesus, come on now. Come on now.
And the talent difference is immense. So, I think I've seen maybe once or twice in my lifetime a number 16 seed knock off a number 1 seed.
Yeah, me too.
But that's the beauty of the NCAA tournament. You know, you just never know. I think the fun part about it is the bracket, creating your brackets. Because most people's brackets be busted up by the second round. I know mine do.
That's why I never do them, because I don't know who to trust and who not to trust. Because in this world,
they asked me to put money on it, Sky. To put in one of them, and I said I don't know enough about the teams. It'd be like me taking the money and burning.
And even if I do, there's always a variable that you don't know. Somebody in that game is going to have a good game. That number 6 player, that number 7 player is going to catch on fire that the top team did not prepare for. And that's how they get over. Yep.
You don't know. And then there's things that we don't know. Like, we don't know if that team was partying the night before.
That's right.
We don't know if they had milk and tacos and burritos the night before. And then they got It's a lot of variables. You're right.
A lot of variables. Absolutely. Somebody could have got bad news before the game started. Then their mental is off. You know, it's all type of stuff. Yeah.
Or their girlfriend dumped them. Or they walked in, caught her man getting pounded by another dude.
There you go.
One of the teammates. You don't never know.
You never know. That's right.
Speaking of never knowing, y'all, we got a whole lot to talk about today. I think the first thing I want to jump into is LeBron criticizing Memphis. Because people are upset. But you know what? One thing I wish our community stopped doing is lying. I wish our community stopped lying. Memphis is trash. I'm going to go out and say it. All right? Memphis got its good things. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But Memphis is trash. You know what I'm saying? Nobody outside of Memphis want to go and say, I'm going to go to Memphis. They just ain't going to do it. I know it's people the same way with Cleveland. I know nobody is vacationing in Cleveland. But you know there are certain parts of Cleveland that you stay away from. When it comes to Memphis, you stay away from all of Memphis. There's not a certain part that they say, oh, you could go here, but don't go here. No, you stay away from all of Memphis. Matter of fact, I was looking at some property down there a couple years ago, and I was talking to somebody from there. You know what they told me?
What's that?
Everybody I know in Memphis done been robbed. That tells me everything I need to know. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Man, I'm going to get into this. I'm going to say this too. Memphis is known for where Martin Luther King Jr. got shot. Now think about that. That's like saying, you know, he is, you know, considered in America, Jesus in America.
Mm-hmm.
A peaceful man. Even though, you know, all this other stuff starting to come out about him years later. But he's the closest thing to, you know, a peaceful man that we've had. And he got killed in Memphis. Not LA, not Chicago, not New York, but Memphis. At a hotel. So when the NBA players complain about the hotels, I'm quite sure your hotels do not have a good history. I'm just saying. You know what I'm saying? They don't. Y'all need to quit saying that Memphis is a great place. The food may be good, but you better be wearing bulletproof vests and everything else to get it.
Absolutely.
Young Dolph went out to go get some food. There's some cookies, but hell, he got off going to get food. Memphis do not got a good history. I'm just telling y'all. So y'all from Memphis, y'all need to quit lying about it. Y'all might be using gunshots going on every day of the week, but most of us, yeah, they should move Memphis or the Grizzlies. They should. The Grizzlies never should have moved to Memphis. But here it is. Without further ado, LeBron.
At 41 years old, you think I'm gonna do that? Being in Memphis on a random ass Thursday. I'm not like the first guy to even talk about it in the NBA. Like we all like, you guys have to move. Just go over to Nashville. You got Vanderbilt over there. You got the NASCAR. You got a stadium. Don't they got a hockey team too?
Yeah, Predators.
Like they got everything.
Doesn't look like LeBron's going to be on the Grizzlies anytime soon, so Grizzly fans out there.
Yeah, they know. Their only chance was in 2003 if they'd have won the lottery to get me there. And I might have pulled a Eli Manning and not showed up.
Game day to get to. Man, I used to hate flying into Memphis, bro.
What'd you coming to that FedEx? Them boys maybe had him for cracking.
I mean, we gonna stay at that West, and I'm gonna walk across. I'm walking across the street on game day to get to the.
What's your least favorite city? Everybody's got to have one.
Yeah, Memphis, probably. I mean, the hotel is probably the worst hotel in the NBA. The food there is good, though.
Did you ever walk into a hotel room and just be like, wow, thousands of people have slept in this bed before me?
Yeah. Especially when we go to Memphis. I'd be like, damn, my hotel ain't nothing in Memphis. That shit be dirty. I walked in the Memphis hotel one time, I had stains and shit on the bed.
Stains and shit?
Stains and shit.
They broke in your room for you?
Nah, they ain't breaking in, but.
No, I'm saying they broke it in.
Yeah.
But it's Memphis, so they might have also broke in.
For sure. Memphis, shout out.
Shout out Memphis.
Yeah.
Shootout Memphis.
Nah, not shootout.
Memphis, which should probably be in Nashville, should be an Eastern Conference team. Adam, let them just do us all a favor and take the team to Nashville. No harm, no foul. The relocation fee, it's a swap. See that arena? You ain't got to pay the relocation fee. So no harm, no foul there.
Far off, I don't think that's the reason why. I just don't think it's a destination city. You know, Nashville's one of those cities that people enjoy. Memphis, it is in Tennessee, so you get a tax cut, like it's good on taxes, but it's just not a city that's pretty, I guess you could say.
Oh, Memphis is easily the worst.
Yeah.
Easily the worst. You usually stay at the West End across from the hotel, and that's the only, like they're like,
is the Peacock there?
The Peabody.
Peabody. With the ducks? Yeah, Peabody. What they have is it the gooses or the ducks?
Give me your best waddle.
No,
and he just
people got to
pick up a video of him running.
Pay for that. Yeah, people got to pay for that action.
That's cute.
But
okay,
yes.
what cities have the worst hotels?
Ooh,
Memphis.
Oh.
For sure. We had an issue there where we used to stay at one hotel in Memphis, and this dates back. We stopped staying there because their sprinklers just went off for no reason in the room and like drenched all the Andrew Bogut stuff, like the sprinkler system, like it was a fire. Just went off, drenched all bogus stuff, and they didn't want to do anything about it. So we switched hotels then, right? So it's been an issue. It's gotten a little better, I must say, but it's still not the other cities.
Is New Orleans and Memphis the worst destinations in the NBA?
I ain't gonna lie. Memphis probably is the worst NBA city. During the playoffs, people got robbed. The fact that you get robbed walking across the street back to the hotel is insane. The Memphis.
So there we go.
Ooh, my God, where do I start? First off, let me say to all my Memphis rappers, because remember, y'all, I was in the music industry for a long time. I ran a record label and a publishing company, and I ran into a lot of good guys out of Memphis who could rap. And one of the bad things that was going on between Nashville and Memphis was when you listen to a Nashville rapper and you listen to a Memphis rapper, you could tell the difference. And even though I'm from Nashville, Edge Hill, shouts out to Edge Hill, I always favored the Memphis rappers because they just had more of an edge and a swag to them when they rapped. It was just sharp. But now I know why, because I see the environment they have came out of, right? And so now back to basketball. They're talking about the FedEx Forum. I remember when they played in the Pyramid. So if you bitching and moaning about the FedEx Forum, now I never went to a game. But do you remember when they played in the Pyramid before they got the FedEx Forum? And you want to bitch and moan and complain about the FedEx Forum and the hotel? What about the hotels still across from the Pyramid when they used to play there? I used to work on ESPN3.com. Do you remember that demo with ESPN had ESPN and CSS, right? And so I was a cameraman for one of the, is it Memphis State or Memphis University? It has changed. The football team, the Tigers.
The Memphis Tigers.
And I was the cameraman for one of their games, and I was nervous, and I went with MTSU because MTSU took a bus of us down there, charter bus, to do that. And so when NBA players are scared about getting robbed, first of all, why are you scared? Where's security? Is security scared too? All NBA players and NBA buses have security that I can't even afford to even talk about, right? So if you're scared, that means your security is scared because you don't feel safe, which means your security doesn't feel safe. And last but not least, we've talked about the politics of Memphis, Shelby County. It was never supposed to be in Tennessee. They probably still argue about that today. Shelby County was supposed to be in Arkansas. And they're still pissed off about that. And then if you think about it, Memphis is a part of Tennessee. They have history in Mississippi, and they have history in Arkansas. So when they say New York is a melting pot, Memphis is really a melting pot of people. So you just can't say, well, Memphis, Tennessee has a problem. No, Memphis, Arkansas, Memphis, Mississippi all have a problem because you have three different cultures who's been fighting over that county since the 1800s, and it just has escalated to what it is to now. So if you get shot in Memphis, you don't know if that person is an original Tennessean, a Mississippian, or an Arkansasian, if I'm saying that correct. So yeah, even if you was to move the team from Memphis to Nashville, you're not going to change Memphis culture. Whatever the culture is has nothing to do with the basketball, because they've been shooting and banging each other before the NBA even got there. It has to go back to the culture, and you have to find out why these young men, white, black, Asian, feel that violence is the only solution to Memphis problems. And then the politicians, I don't know if they're Democrat or Republican, but you got to start voting. You got to start running for aldermen and councilmen and change that environment. And this is why it's not a tourist city, because like you said, Martin Luther King got killed there in broad daylight, Damo. Broad daylight. And they've been on the first 48. When you think of the first 48, first thing come to your mind is Memphis. Even though they ain't been on there in a while, because the mayor a few years ago, they had a first 48 down, and he said, "We're done. We're not doing this no more. First 48 can never come back." So that's why the first 48 ain't been back down in about 10 years. The mayor's like, "We're done." Whoever the mayor was at that time. So this is all the issues that you're having with because there's still some good people in Memphis. It's the great city of Memphis.
I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to break this down, right? The NBA is a business. The NBA is not, if you're running a business, and it's a corporate business, why would you rather put your stuff in Memphis or Nashville?
Nashville, of course.
Yeah. Nashville got better hotels.
Yep.
Now, the food in Memphis is great. Memphis got some good things about it. Like you said, the artists, the musicians, in Memphis are really good. Mm-hmm. They much better than Nashville. I'm sorry, they're much better. They have an identity in Memphis, music-wise, and they are way better. Not just better, they're way better. The food is really good, but if we're talking about putting a business in Memphis or Nashville, the Grizzlies never should have made it to Memphis.
Right.
Memphis is impoverished.
Mm-hmm.
It's violent. Mm-hmm. It's so violent that they had to put the National Guard there. Mm-hmm. And there's still violence going on.
Mm-hmm.
So if people don't like what LeBron or KD or Ant-Man or any other athlete has said about Memphis, then it's up to y'all to change the culture. See, that rugged edge, that's cool to y'all until somebody else comes.
You froze, Damo. You still there? Okay, y'all, sorry. Damo kind of froze a little bit. He'll be back, y'all. But yeah, Memphis is... We don't like when I go to Memphis, I don't even consider being part of Tennessee, to be honest with you. Memphis is like a whole different culture, a whole different state or whatever. And the reason the Grizzlies went there, it's a business. So I'm from Edge Hill, right? And so when all the black people in Edge Hill, I'm just telling you the truth, when they destroyed the property, it was easy for these white folks and these business people to come in and buy nickels on the dollar or whatever, right? And redo it. Memphis is the same way. If you want to know why they never came to Nashville, if you go to Memphis and they've tore down the property taxes, everything else is much cheaper back then than it was in Nashville. So it's like me, if I'm gonna buy a property, I can get the same house in Memphis for $54,000, but that same house in Nashville might be $200,000. So like Damo said, it's a business, and that's why the Grizzlies went there. The property taxes was cheaper, the tax cuts were better, because the value of the state and the land was much cheaper to first of all to play in the pyramid, that first off, and then for them to build FedEx Stadium, so that's one of the reasons. Go ahead, Ms. Damo. You had cut out.
All right, so yeah, I had cut off for a minute, man. Sorry about that, y'all. But I was saying then, when we looking at Memphis business-wise opportunity compared to Nashville, it's not even close.
Right.
Memphis is way more violent. It's way more impoverished. And y'all can blame it not only on the culture, but then y'all local politicians.
Yep.
They have not done a favor for Memphis.
Right.
Memphis is not somewhere where an investor wants to go.
Okay.
Not if they value their life.
That's
now,
true.
if y'all don't like that, then I suggest y'all clean it up. Or y'all shame the people that's actually making it look bad.
Mm-hmm.
Because what may be comfortable and nice to you may be different for me. I may see it and be like, no. You know what I'm saying? That's not clean to me. That's not comfort to me. You may look at the Western and it may be a 5-star to you. I may look at it and it may be a 2-star to me. So them players have every right to criticize, and the NBA put a lot of money into these cities. So yes, fans do pay their hard-earned money, but you think that we wouldn't pay that here in Nashville? Do you think we wouldn't welcome that here in Nashville? We're fans too. We were going to support the Grizzlies. So yeah, I think the Grizzlies would be better in Nashville. I think the players would like to visit Nashville or would prefer Nashville over Memphis. And for y'all to disagree because y'all from Memphis, man, y'all need to quit lying to yourself. You know, like I could tell you, as great as there are some great Nashville parts of Nashville, I can tell you Nashville got some places that they don't want people to know about.
Mm-hmm.
But it's still much better than Memphis.
Mm-hmm.
Saying.
Yeah,
you know?
You're right. You're right. Like you said, it's a business, and now I do believe that the Memphis Grizzlies can afford to do it. Like I don't know if you heard me when you was beeped out on why they went to Memphis, because again, the property taxes and the property value was so cheap, you could afford to put a team there. Now, if the Memphis Grizzlies value have expanded, they can come here. And you're right, they can do it. They're building stadiums for other soccer, baseball, hockey, all this old stuff. They could actually come here. But at the same time, I see why the NBA players don't be there. But again, my whole thing is, what can we do to help Memphis change the culture? What needs to happen?
There's nothing that Memphis is not going to change. Memphis is what Memphis is. Memphis has been trash. I ain't even gonna say no offense, because I'm just gonna be honest, man. It got some good things, but in a whole, Memphis is trash. It's not somewhere where you want to go and really build. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody is looking like, man, I mean, if you go to Memphis, it's because you're in bad shape, or you was born there. Nobody who is thriving is saying, I'm going to take my resources and go and build in Memphis.
Yeah.
They're not.
Yeah. And you know the crazy part, Damo?
You know, Nashville may get to be that sky one day.
Yeah. Well, we got close, and that's what I was going to say to you, because when I was going to MTSU between 2007 to 2000, what the hell? The issue was a lot of Memphis people was coming to TSU, which all of a sudden then TSU started to get bad. And it was like, why is TSU so bad? Then they figured out a lot of people's coming from Memphis to go to TSU. Then when that started getting bad, then they started to migrate to MTSU, and MTSU started getting bad. So that's what I'm saying. Even if we moved the company to Nashville, and let's say they stayed the Nashville Grizzlies, Memphis people, if they came out of Memphis just to go to school, get jobs, and come and live here, now you're going to bring more Memphis into Nashville. So that's what I'm saying. Moving the team is not going to change the city. They will just follow the team and their bad ways until our schools, our jobs, our neighborhoods, our community.
But that's not really completely true, Sky, and I'll tell you why. Because Memphis, you probably can find an apartment or something for $500-$600.
Yeah.
You ain't gonna find nothing like that in Nashville. Everything is triple in Nashville than what it is in Memphis. And then with gas being almost $4 or $5 a gallon, most people, there's not a lot of people that, represent the culture that can even afford to live here. Maybe if they're a college student, yeah. But there's not many of them that can really afford to live here. Second of all, I'm gonna tell you why bringing Memphis or the Grizzlies to Nashville will be better, because they will pick up a whole nother fan base. People from Kentucky will come to the games. They're not going to the games from Kentucky bypassing Nashville to go to Memphis to get robbed. To sleep on bed bug mattresses, pissy mattresses. You know, mattresses probably with blood stains on them. You know, they ain't bypassing Nashville to go to watch a game for that. And you can imagine, you know, in Nashville, look at what the NFL draft did. Could you imagine them having an NFL draft in Memphis?
No, they're not. And you know why this conversation is happening? Is because before we see things, it takes 2, maybe more plus years for things to happen. You know, they're about to expand the NBA. They're about to add 2 new teams. They've been having these conversations 2-3 years ago. We just now finding out, correct? So this is why now it's easy to say move them out of Memphis into Nashville and put them in the Eastern Conference, because they want to bring 2 new teams, because I was hearing about this, the 2 new teams they're going to bring, they're going to put in the Western Conference. One in Vegas and one in somewhere else. And they needed 1 or 2 teams to leave the Western Conference anyway to go to the Eastern Conference. See how all this connects? Now all of a sudden, Memphis, hey, you have all these issues. Let's kick you out of the West, put you in Nashville, and take you to the Eastern Conference. And you know, one thing, Damo, as you were saying, the affordability, what happens if Memphis starts to having $1,000 rents? And where do those folks go if they can't start to afford rent in Memphis? Because a lot of those Memphis people might be the ones that's on Section 8 and all this other stuff. So I agree with you. A lot of them can't come to Nashville today because a 1-bedroom apartment here is $1,400, but a 1-bed apartment room there is $600. But what if times change and a 1-bedroom there becomes $1,600 like here? Where do they go? Do they go to Memphis? Do they go to Arkansas? Do they go to Kentucky? Like, where would they go when Memphis start to up their prices to match the national markets?
Regenification in Memphis is coming. I know they don't believe it, but it's coming, because up here they done regentified everything that they could. So what do you think is next? Chattanooga, Knoxville, Memphis. They coming to y'all next. You know, you don't think they gonna outprice y'all? Y'all better clean up your own communities, because what they're gonna do is, well, you know what? We'll just make it where they can't afford to live here anymore.
That's right.
And that's what's coming.
And that's the scary part, because again, when you kick the roaches out, where do they go? Like when you fumigate your home and the roaches leave, do they go to the next door neighbor's houses or the house across? They're going to go somewhere, because they're animals like anything else. They have to eat, sleep, and survive and reproduce, right? So even if you kick them out of your house, it's like being in an apartment complex. You know, the people above you, beside you have roaches, and you kick them out and they go over there and then they breed and still come back into your house because now they've overbreeded in these people's houses. It's a never-ending story.
Yep, so we'll see, man. It's going to be interesting. I do think that they need to bring the Grizzlies to Nashville.
I would love that.
They do.
I would love that.
I think that's an easy. Memphis never deserved the Grizzlies. Memphis hasn't cleaned up their. I think some of these cities don't deserve an NBA team. If your city is high, super high in crime when it comes to the capita, compared to like the amount of citizens and the number of crimes, if it's high, your city don't deserve an NBA team, NFL team, NHL team, none of that. If your politicians can't clean up your city, you don't deserve a team. I don't care if it's LA. In LA, I don't believe a lot of them deserve an NBA team or NFL team. Matter of fact, if you look out at LA, what do we keep noticing about LA? Them teams keep moving. They go from Oakland, LA, San Diego, Oakland. Now they moving out. Mm-hmm. And so I don't think that you deserve an NBA team or a professional sports team if you can't clean your city up. I don't care how.
Well, sorry, y'all. Lost connection. He'll be back in just 1 second.
I don't know why it is, but I think I'm gonna stay on this one.
Okay.
All right. So I'm gonna move on to this next. These folks from Chick-fil-A, they fired a whole crew. Let me show y'all what these fools done did. And then remember, we're talking about Chick-fil-A. I don't know what made these folks think they can get involved with Chick-fil-A and they can do this for Chick-fil-A. But
Chick-fil-A employees were fired after participating in a dance video inspired by Black culture. A store manager organized the video after noticing a drop in sales. Several employees, including female staff and the manager, joined the video in an effort to promote the brand. After the video was posted, it quickly gained attention online and reportedly brought more customers into the store. However, Chick-fil-A corporate later terminated everyone involved, including the manager. Despite being fired, the manager later posted a video explaining what happened while eating Chick-fil-A food. The incident also brought attention to a similar case. A former employee had previously gone viral for positively reviewing Chick-fil-A items online, giving high ratings and encouraging others to try the food. She was also dismissed. Chick-fil-A reportedly views these types of actions as unauthorized use of its brand. Some former employees say the company has very strict rules. They claim workers are not allowed to dye their hair, have visible piercings, or show tattoos. Even if the content brings positive attention, employees are not allowed to represent the brand without approval. Some people believe the company is too strict, while others think employees should follow company rules. What do you?
So this guy right here at the end, he was the one that orchestrated all this. He orchestrated, right? Why did they think that was going to fly at Chick-fil-A?
Good question. Well, the short answer is, if you work for somebody else, you under somebody's rules, right? Old folks say, if you live in my house, you under my rules. So if you want to do your own thing, you go get your own apartment or your own house. Simple as that. If you get a handbook, everybody gets an employee handbook. Now it might be digital. It ain't physical like it was when I was coming up. Everybody gets an employee handbook, and it states firmly in that what you can and can't do. And even if you're trying to do something positive to bring in more customers, that ain't your job. That's the corporate's job. That's why they spend the money. That's why it's Chick-fil-A. If sales are down, that's not your problem. Your job is to do whatever you got hired to do. So at the end of the day, no, Chick-fil-A is not wrong. First of all, some of them videos, even if they did bring in more people, that's not a positive way to bring in folks any darn way. And two, like they said, and this is the problem. This is the point I'm trying to make, Damo. This is why people don't read and research. This is why I like folks to become somewhat of entrepreneurs. Run your own little company. You ain't have to be a big entrepreneur, even if you're working 9 to 5. So you will understand what branding and intellectual property and all that stuff is. Even if I wore a Chick-fil-A shirt and I said, I love Chick-fil-A, hit this link, go, I can be sued because I didn't get their approval, because that is their intellectual property, that is their trademark, that is their company. Whether I'm a customer or an employee, if I don't get that approval and it goes viral, I can be in trouble. So they lucky they only got fired and not sued. But this is what happens when people don't read the handbook or don't understand. All they see is the money they're gonna make per hour, which is getting taxed any damn way. So no, I'm on Chick-fil-A side the whole way. Fire them, bring in a whole new group of people who's going to go by the rules and move on.
They did know that the owners were devoted Christians, which is why they don't open on Sunday.
Right.
Why do you think bouncing around and bouncing your titties around or twerking is going to fly with a company that's owned by Christians? And why do, some of our women, they go above and beyond to embarrass the culture. Above and beyond embarrassing. You know, can we not go anywhere and act like we're civilized? I mean, we were talking some months ago about them being upset about Obama's being referred to as monkeys. But then we go out and we have this chimp-like behavior. You know, they had where the students was out spring break down in Houston and in Miami. The women have dressed, you know what I'm saying? Like representing, like when you go out, you represent your parents too. So they making them look bad. And it's like, why do they think that this behavior flies? The woman was bouncing her breasts around with a baby in her arms. Like, where is that okay? And why isn't this stuff? I'm sorry, man. I'm telling you, Sky. Maybe it's this old age. I'm at the point where my mouth is just gonna fly, and whatever the consequences is, it's gonna be the consequence. But you know how you just feel like you've been around and you've seen stuff, and you just been quiet, and it aggravates you, but you just been quiet. I am not gonna be that dude no more. If it bothers me, I'm gonna say, man, that shit is dumb. It irks me. You know, if I see somebody doing some dumb ass, because I want them to do it to me. If I do something stupid, I want them to say, man, that's really dumb, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you doing that dumb ass shit? I want them to check me.
And then what is the image that is going just to black people? Because I didn't see no white people in that video, and I hate bringing up race, but it just seems that's the only thing that is common sense, right? So when you said the owners are Christians, you know what came to my mind? Two old white people, a 60-year-old man and a 50-year-old woman owning Chick-fil-A. I could be wrong, but that's when you just said that's what came into my mind. They hired these young black people to give them a job to feed their families, right? They do this, even though they try to do it out the kindness of their heart, so to speak. You have to fire them. When they do the hiring process, how many black folks you think gonna be in that Chick-fil-A now?
I don't even think it matters. Chick-fil-A makes so much money that, you know, I mean, we the minority anyway. So we ain't gonna hurt no business. I don't know why we think that we can, you know what I'm saying? Maybe back then, maybe once upon a time, but we ain't hurting no businesses right now as the minority. We the minority. You know,
So
it
that's
may
why I
be
was saying.
temporary.
That's why I was saying. So you get a job at Chick-fil-A who don't even need black dollars. They're using other people's money to be a billion-dollar corporation. Why would you do something like that? You know how hard it is to get a job now? And so you would do something like that to lose your income?
I mean, man, dude. People just out here
lost. But then don't forget, Damo, there's this thing going around talking about how black women are being fired 35% more than any other person. They have a target on women. They firing black women. They don't want to hire black women, right? But then you play this video, and I'm thinking, well, why should I hire black women? Because that guy, because I've seen the video, that guy, he's feminine. You know that, right? He's batting for the home team. So when I say women, I'm including him too, because he's made it known that he's, you know what I'm saying? So why would I hire? That's what I'm saying. They just made it look bad. So the next video I see with a black woman talking about I can't get a job, I'm like, well, watch that Chick-fil-A video.
And you know, because I'm gonna take this conversation to a whole nother place.
Go ahead. I ain't
gonna do it, man, because you know I get people in their feelings. You know, but I'm gonna say it anyway. F it. Why do our women like to pedestal? They like to put them dudes from that community on the pedestal. Why do they put them on the pedestal?
I have no clue.
I mean, you know, and they'll be like, our men don't protect us. Well, y'all trying to turn them into women.
That's true.
You're trying to turn them into women. You respect them more when they act like you than when they are masculine. When they are masculine, and we have when we have authoritarian voices, They don't like that. You know? But when they like that, they love them. And then wonder where are the men at? You turn them into women. You worship them when they have this and this behavior. This man jumping around like he got breasts too, that's fat. That ain't even healthy that he got that. When we like that, that's not healthy. That's not nothing to be celebrated. And y'all see
And
the
they followed him.
video, Sky, not only did he jump around and grab his, but then he turned around and started bouncing his butt like that. And I'm like,
And that was probably the straw that broke the camel's back. That's probably what got all of them fired, was that right there. When he turned around and did that. Because think about it, who wants to go into a Chick-fil-A? Well, the manager, not just an employee who's been there for 2 months, but somebody you hired to oversee all the employees is doing that. That makes the owners look bad. That makes the owners look like you don't even know what you're doing because you hiring people that look over people that's bouncing their behind on camera. See, that's why they all got fired.
He's the manager and he talked them into it.
Yeah.
That's and then they wonder why they don't. You know what? I swear, dude, I understand, and as a black man, I understand why certain people don't want us in their space. We talk about the people that we don't want us in their space.
Right.
If we don't behave like this, you see what we do in the carnival? We messed up carnival to the point they had to change rules. Sky, I don't know, was it last week I was talking about? Yeah, you weren't here last week. Where I was talking about a group of friends went out to a restaurant, had a meal together, and when the bill came, they argued over who was going to pay the bill, and then they start stabbing each other.
Damn, I missed that one. Jesus, no. I ain't seen that. They start stabbing each other?
Stabbing each other, man. Family and friends.
Fighting over the
girl
bill.
pulled a knife out. Another girl busted a bottle. You know how you bust a bottle like and for the sharp ends? And then they just got to cutting each other. Yes. You know, man, I get frustrated because I get this all the time. Even when I have discussions with people out and about. They be like, well, what about the men? And I always remind them, who are raising the men? This video right here, they celebrate this man who behaves like they do. That's what about the men. You know, dude, it's frustrating.
It is.
It's frustrating. We watched Chris Brown put a woman up on stage and tongue kiss.
What?
You don't know if this woman got an STD. Man, she don't know if Chris Brown got an STD. This is what we doing.
Is she married or something?
That's what they were saying. But
was the husband in the crowd?
That's what they saying. Allegedly.
Yeah, some people are into that. So,
But it's the principle. Jesus. Because you know what, Sky? I'm glad you just said that. Because there were people that were like, well, some people, that's what they do. But it's the look of it. Because what happens is single men look at that and be like, yeah, I don't think I want to get married. Nah, I think I'll pass. That's who you having an influence on. Men take that and they file it into their database. Huh? I don't think I want to. So, man, week after week, man, I've been finding videos of a lot of our black women, man, with the worst behavior. And that's not to say that women in other cultures don't behave that way too, because they do. But why do y'all always find yourself on video for people to say, hey, look?
Mm-hmm. I don't know what that behavior characteristic is. For some black women, it's just follow the leader, right? They see a group of black women dress a certain way, talk a certain way, move a certain way, then they start doing it. And then their kids start doing it. And then their kids start doing it. So some of it is just follow the leader. But as far as that Chick-fil-A thing, yeah, that's, and then not only that, it's online, y'all. So when y'all try to go to other jobs and you don't get these jobs, who are you gonna blame?
Well, it ain't just the women in our culture. Sad to say. It's the men.
We just have to pray for them, Damo. We just have to pray for them.
We got to pray for them. That's it. It ain't just the women, though. We're to the men. Shout out to Pooh Shiesty for being one of the dumbest people I've ever known in my life. So I'm going to show what this would did. And this is it, man. It's hard to do with a lot of things that we dealing with. It's culture. And I think it's about time. We do. Here's Pooh Shiesty.
Wait till I point you out cause I'm ready. Might rob a rapper right out the session. Give me them keys and they're watching that necklace. I need them Cuban links and them Bugatti. Ain't no more posting on IG and flexing. I'm the one rapping but steady be stepping. I'm coming late in your dream like I'm Freddy. How you gonna run from an automatic weapon?
A few moments later.
I'm Ryan Rabel, I'm the U.S. Attorney for the Northern District of Texas. Thank you for coming. This week, 9 individuals, including well-known musical artists, kidnapped and robbed at gunpoint numerous victims at a music studio in Dallas, Texas. 8 of the 9 were arrested yesterday in Dallas, Memphis, and Nashville. These individuals who are charged and arrested include Lontrell Williams Jr., also known as Pooh Shiesty, Lontrell Williams Sr., Rodney Wright Jr., also known as Big 30, Kadarius Waters, Demarion Gibson, DeMarcus Glover, Corday Johnson, Darian McDaniel, and Terrence Rogers has not been arrested yet, but will be soon. The complaint alleges that on January 10th of this year, 3 music industry professionals traveled to Dallas for a scheduled business meeting. Lontrell Williams Jr. arranged this meeting purportedly to discuss the terms of his recording contract with one of the victims. As alleged, once these 3 men were inside the recording studio, Williams Jr. and 8 co-conspirators, several of whom traveled from Memphis, Tennessee, executed a coordinated armed takeover. As alleged, Williams Jr. produced an AK-style pistol and forced one of the victims to sign a release from the recording contract at gunpoint. The remaining conspirators displayed firearms and robbed the other victims of Rolex watches.
So they robbed them of Rolex watches, they changed, they money. And one of the victims, they almost choked out. They ain't say who that was. I'm guessing it probably was Gucci.
What's the name of the song? So he was on Gucci Mane's song talking about robbing Gucci Man?
Yeah. Y'all want to hear that again?
Sure.
Let's play it back. Hold on. Let me go back. Yeah. That's some bold ass shit, ain't it?
Damn.
That's saying a lot of shit. That is one of the boldest things I've ever seen. Hold on. You got to give me a minute to pull this back up. I was like, damn. You know.
Wait till I point you out cause I'm ready. Might rob a rapper right out the session. Give me them keys and they're watching that necklace. I need them Cuban links and them Bugatti. Ain't no more posting on IG and flexing. I'm the one rapping but steady be stepping. I'm coming late in your dream like I'm Freddy. How you gonna run from an automatic weapon?
A few moments later.
I'm Ryan Rabel, I'm the U.S. Attorney for the Northern District of Texas. Thank you for coming. This week, 9 individuals, including well-known musical artists, kidnapped and robbed at gunpoint numerous victims at a music studio in Dallas, Texas. 8 of the 9 were arrested yesterday in Dallas, Memphis, and Nashville. These individuals...
Wait till I point you out cause I'm ready. Might rob a rapper right out the session. Give me them keys and they're watching that necklace. I need them Cuban links and them Bugatti. Ain't no more posting on IG and flexing. I'm the one rapping but steady be stepping. I'm coming late in your dream like I'm Freddy. How you gonna run from an automatic weapon?
A few moments later.
Wait, the one point you out cause I'm ready. Might rob a rapper right out the session. Give me them keys and they watching it necklace. I need them Cuban links and them Bugattis. Ain't no more posting, no IG and flexing. I'm the one rapping, but steady be stepping. I'm coming late in your dream like I'm Freddy. How you gonna run from an automatic whip?
A few moments later.
I'm Ryan Rabel, I'm the U.S. Attorney for the Northern District of Texas. Thank you for coming. This week, 9 individuals, including well-known musical artists, kidnapped and robbed.
Before the robbery, because Gucci Mane is standing behind them. So hold on. Let me get this straight. Let me get this straight. So me and you in the studio to do a song together. I don't know if it's when that happened, right? I don't know if you robbed me at that studio session or another one, but you robbed me, right? And then all of a sudden, after I release you, me and you in the same video, and you talking about robbing Sky Black in the song, in the video, and you have robbed my people, but you put a pistol on me to release you. So that's what I'm trying to figure out. Was the song done before the robbery or after the robbery?
It was done before. He featured on Gucci's song. That was his feature on Gucci's song prior to. And him talking about robbing a rapper at Assassin, talking about taking his Cuban links and Bugattis and all that, you know, baguettes and all that. That was prior to it actually happening. Ain't that diabolical?
And so now him and some of his friends were upset about the contract or just wanted out of the contract. Okay, and then they go into the
And Gucci would have let him out of it. Have you ever heard of Gucci rather be Waka Flocka or anybody holding any of his artists hostage?
Not that I know of. I don't know that much about Gucci. I ain't gonna lie to you. I listen to some of his music, but I don't know. But the part I was gonna say was what he did was just an evolution, right? Ice Cube did it. Suge Knight did it. Did y'all know TLC did it to L.A. Reid? They went into his office with baseball bats and went up there about their contract. That's why now you can't, I guess at the time, you couldn't go into the Face Records now without strong security. So they like this, the artists have been doing this, but usually they take baseball and other people to scare you. This is just the evolution. He decided going with big guns and goons and not only get out of his contract, but rob the people that was around Gucci Mane. Now, how was this followed up, Damo? She called the police, or how did it happen?
Gucci did, but I think somebody around him did.
Okay, gotcha.
And you got to think about this. Everywhere has cameras. There's cameras everywhere. So I'm quite sure somebody got some video proof of it. So now, not only this dude, Boo Shiesty, had just got out. He just got out of jail. So now he gonna do bad time for kidnapping, armed robbery, and all that. Not only that, but now Gucci and them can come back and sue him for breach of contract. So he's about to lose everything that he had. On top of it.
Absolutely. And you know what's really gonna get him up in arms is you say he just got out of jail. So if he just got out of jail as a felon, he ain't supposed to be around guns no way. That's what's gonna keep him in jail till he's 60. Because the robbery, the getting out of contract, if you get out of jail as a felon, you cannot be around guns or have guns. And then you sitting there not only holding a gun, but around other people with guns that's doing a armed robbery. Yeah, he will have white hair when he gets out.
It's over for him. It's over for him. Man, I'm telling you, man. And they celebrate this behavior.
Ain't that crazy?
So I said, man.
So people are upset when folks call black people. People upset when folks call black people monkeys. But what you're saying, Damo, is look at the stuff that they do when we act crazy. They're around each other, jumping and shout like monkeys, and now they want to be put in cages like monkeys.
And guess who pays the price for that? Unfortunately,
who's that?
People like you and I, because when you and I go out, they're looking at us. You know, man, they are a reflection of us. whether we like it or not.
That's
so if
true.
we get mistreated, man, you know, remember I told you the time I had a cop pull me over at gunpoint, had me on the ground and everything, and I was mad at that cop for a long time, but the truth of it is I was a reflection of a person he was looking for. So what should I be mad at? The cop or the reflection?
The reflection, yeah. I say it to people all the time. If one white cop has pulled over 9 black people and had to shoot out, chase them, fight, I'll pull out the dogs. If I'm number 10, oh hell yeah, it's going down. And I might just be sitting there looking silly, but you the number 10 black person, he's gone through 9, barely getting out with his life, then yeah, I'm probably gonna get the ass handle, all that. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
And Sky, if you think about it, right, we do the same thing with white folks. There's a certain look that they have when we see them around due to so many school shootings and public shootings, that when we see them, we go the opposite direction. If they weird and they, you know what I'm saying, like, you know, awkward, we go the other way. And they wear trench coats and they in all gothic, we go the other way. It's the same in our community. When you got a certain look, people gonna go the other way. It is what it is.
It is what it is. You're right about that. That's true. And that's the hell we live in, because ain't nothing we can do about it. You have good people, you have bad people, and sometimes the bad people can make the good people look bad. That's it.
Yep.
So we're going to have a section of African American black culture, whatever you want to call it, that will always perpetrate that lifestyle to the end of time. To the end of time, will always perpetrate that lifestyle. And as long as they do that, then an average person can't determine the N-word from a black man. And that's the issue we have in 2026. Because an N-word and a black man, whether they wear jewelry, have grills in their mouth, they sagging. I've seen YNs look professional, and I've seen some people in suits be the ghettoest people I've ever seen in my life. So when people can't distinguish between the two, we're going to have issues.
Yep, unfortunately. Speaking of, I think this was wild. I was shocked by this guy. So some mothers decided that they're going to, I think a lot of these moms be bored, be thinking of shit out of the blue. This is a new one. Without further ado, they are making jewelry out of breast milk.
First of all, kudos to that. Secondly, does the baby get any money? She didn't use some of that baby's hair, right? That's that baby's property. So I don't know if the baby gonna see any of that money. But we just said about this earlier. That woman could be a 9 to 5 lady, and on the side, maybe an hour or two out of her week, She creates jewelry. She's learning business. So she's learning that you can't be shaking your butt at Chick-fil-A because you do not own that color, that building, that branding. Kudos to them. Two, I've probably said this a million times on this show, but remember back in the early 1900s, they were using women's placentas to make perfume. And what happened was women started to find out and they wanted to go after the industry and then they quit using it. So now, again, this is just the evolution. That's her breast milk. She owns the IP to that. Nobody else owns it. She didn't steal it. That's coming from her. That's her child that she cut the hair from. Nobody owns it. It's hers. She created something, and now she's going to make money off of something that nobody can sue her for, take it for. And that I wish more people were just more creative. You see how when you construct positively, when you do positive things, how the earth can turn, then to be out here robbing folks over contracts. So yeah, I'm not against that. I'm mad that I didn't think about that. Like I'm not creative, y'all, whatsoever. Hell, I couldn't even put two sticks together with glue. But kudos to that woman. And if there's a lot of other women doing it, hey, it is what it is.
I just want to say this, ladies. Y'all let me know when y'all figure out how to turn that into gas.
Yeah.
Other than me. You know what I'm saying? If y'all can figure out how to turn that breast milk into gas, we in business. You know what I'm saying? I know it's possible because if y'all can turn that into jewelry, I know somebody out there can turn it into gas. So pump away. That's all I'm going to say. Pump away.
That's it.
Matter of fact, I need to find out if this was made of some breast milk.
And you know what the crazy part is,
they don't smell spoiled or nothing, so.
You know the crazy part is, Damo, is that it's going to be lucrative because one, a lot of women can't have kids. People know that. Two, even women that have kids, some of them can't produce breast milk. That's why you go to the store and buy milk. That's why that industry is so. When people ask, what should I invest my money in? I tell them go to Huggies and Pampers because they're never on sale because people are going to always have kids, right? So that's why that industry. When the last time you've been to Walmart, Kroger, and any of that stuff is on sale? It never is because it's market for that. So for the women who can produce breast milk at a nice quantity to do that, that's lucrative. That's money for real. I mean, that's crazy because we don't know the elements of breast milk. You can make a charm out of breast milk and it might last 20 years. Or you know how you go to the mall, buy that cheap stuff and it turns your neck green and stones fall out? Well, what if you can make this out of breast milk and it gives you good quality? Them women, they're going to be millionaires.
Yeah, I think it's brilliant.
Yeah.
I know, man. Kudos. Kudos to them women, man.
Hold on, Dama. Here's the bad side of it. If you can take breast milk, what's stopping people from taking earwax, spit, pee, poo, blood? See, that's what I'm saying. People don't know where there's a line to stop, right? There will be people like, you can use breast milk. I wonder if you can use snot and saliva and earwax, and you know what I'm saying? So that's the downside of it because people don't stop, and that's the issue.
Fellas, I better not hear not one of y'all taking y'all semen and trying to make no jewelry. Y'all cannot. I better not hear not man one of y'all. Some of y'all doing it anyway. Y'all better not hear not one of y'all. Huh?
What was that video we played where the women was taking their vagina mixture and rubbing it on themselves, right? So that's what I'm saying. People don't stop. If women is literally getting themselves in the mood to take the moisture from their vagina and rub it on themselves, right, for pheromones, and now they're using breast milk to make jewelry, where do you draw the line? Oh, and don't forget, who was that rapper, Lil Nas X, was taking blood and putting it in the shoes. So where do you draw the line?
I don't even want to think about the line. All these folks out here, boy, the weird shit.
And the way the world is,
I don't even want to think about it.
Right, and the way the world is, people are donating blood, they donating plasma. There's people who do donate sperm to sperm banks. So you trying to tell me if you tell a bunch of YNs that they can masturbate in a cup and make $100, $200, $300 to sell their semen to make jewelry. Oh hell, the birth rate will go down there because most of these kids will be hanging around your neck.
Had them already around their neck, on their face.
Right. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, man! I got a man. Let me move on from that because that's gonna turn diabolical. That's gonna turn diabolical, man. You got the wrong two fellas up here having that discussion about that. Kudos to the women. I'm telling you, to come up with that. Kudos to them.
Kudos to them.
Damn. Oh, man. Now we're gonna talk about this, man. We've all heard the term happy life, happy wife.
Mm-hmm.
But is that happy wife, happy life, is that term a lie? All these gentlemen went and talked about it, so we're gonna go ahead and chime in on it.
Okay.
The worst love advice you've ever heard or received?
Happy wife, happy life.
Why is that such bad?
People say it all the time, and whoever created that, I want to just throttle them. I have an amendment to it, and that is it should not be happy wife, happy life. Because what's meant by that is just shut your mouth and just do what she tells you, and that's, And I just think it's terrible advice. I think it's a way to build estrangement between two people. It's a way to disconnect. I think it could be amended to happy spouse, happy house.
Mm.
I think that's true. I think that if you can help your partner find joy, that your joy will be more accessible, and their desire to help you find joy will be more accessible to them, and it creates a positive cycle. So I would say happy wife, happy life is the worst.
So
I personally don't agree with any of that because in today's society, you have two miserable people marrying each other. They're not marrying each other for love or out of God or out of a union. They're marrying each other because it's a business. She's struggling, he's struggling. We can struggle together. The bills are too high. One income is better than the other. So there's no happy spouse, happy house, no happy wife, happy life. It's how long can we struggle together, right? And then when I no longer need you, then I'm out. So whether you're just boyfriend and girlfriend, fiancés, or marriage, today's culture is you are my come up. We're going to struggle together. And then when I no longer need you, I am gone. So the old school days of where me and you was, looking for the right partner to grow and build and be, that is over. Like you said earlier today, when a one-bedroom apartment is $1,600 and some of these people out here got kids, a lot of people want to leave, but they can't because they can't afford to leave. They can't afford to get divorced. So I don't believe in none of that stuff. When the foundation is just, I'm trying to survive with someone that I truly don't love or don't want to be with. I've had kids by somebody I didn't want to have kids by. When that is the foundation, there is no house. There is no happiness. You have to make yourself happy. Can't nobody make you happy but you, right? Can't nobody make your spouse happy but that person. So if you miserable and tired, she's miserable and tired, the house is miserable and tired, then there's I don't believe in none of that because it was never started off as let's help each other and make each other happy. It's hell, I can't afford to be by myself. You can't afford to be by yourself. We done messed up and had 2 kids. That's what it is.
Like I always used to say, and I like to talk to the fellas. Don't never get with a woman who prioritizes her happiness over your legacy. If her happiness is more important than your legacy, and that's who you want to build with, it's going to fall apart. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah.
Because basically it means that it doesn't matter if you're miserable. It doesn't matter if the kids are miserable. As long as she's happy, that's all that matters. And you can't, a household or anything you're trying to build can't sustain that. It can't. And so, man, I always tell fellas, man, marriage is the biggest decision we gonna make in our lives. the biggest. It's not buying a house. It's not getting a career. It is who we marry. Because all of that other stuff can be lost if we get married and it don't work out. So why would you want to be with a woman who prioritizes happiness over legacy? That's the difference between the women of yesteryear and the women of the day. The women of the day, they frown upon them women back then. Oh, they were just, do as I say. They were this and they were that. And y'all enslaved them. When them women passed, they had not only their kids, but their grandkids at their bedside. When a lot of these women pass, there's not going to be nobody. It's going to be a dog and a cat parent maybe, and maybe one or two loved ones, maybe one or two friends, if they still kicking. They're not going to have that. And so the question is, what's more important? What I build with this person or me just being happy? Because truth be told, a lot of these women are, to me, they look more miserable than the women back then. They're crying more. Look at Leslie Jones. Leslie Jones is telling younger women, don't get married. I'm looking at Leslie Jones, made it. Living the life and got an affordable life that most women can't have. And she's miserable. What part of Leslie Jones looks happy to y'all? I'll wait. Check out our interviews where she talking about men. She looks like she angry, like she bitter and rich, got everything. These women ain't happy, man. Because if they was happy, they wouldn't have to talk about my peace and all that. Disturbing my peace. I don't want nobody that's going to disturb my peace. When men are at peace, guess what they do? We live our lives. We don't talk about it.
Right.
We don't look for platforms to go and speak on it. We just go in and live life. So,
money can't make you happy. Cars can't make you happy. Jewelry can't make you happy. Happiness has to come from the inside. Even if you had a messed up childhood, eventually you're gonna have to find peace and happiness. Nobody else can do that for you. So I mean, and those that never find it, they try to find it in money and jewelry. And like I said, that stuff can come and go. That stuff will come and go. You can have $1 million and you die tomorrow. That money's gonna go to the state or wherever if you ain't got no loved ones to give it to.
That's why I understood when Will Smith told Jada after Jada did that red table talk that I am not responsible for your happiness.
That's right.
You are responsible for
That's true. And life and marriage is good when you have two happy people that's happy always in the inside, helping each other grow on the outside. But you don't have that now. You have so many miserable people because their parents are miserable, their grandparents are miserable. It's just nobody ever wants to be the people that breaks the cycle. Some people will, but the majority, they don't. They just, oh, my mama lived this way, my grandma lived this way, my great-grandma, and they just keep perpetuating the cycle on down. And so that's why I said I don't believe in happy wife, happy life. I don't believe in happy spouse. I believe in if both of y'all are coming to the table at peace and happiness, that will sustain this marriage. But if any one of y'all or both of y'all are coming just for a come up, or you just tired of sleeping outside on the streets and you just need to lie to this person so you can have a roof under your head, it ain't gonna work.
It ain't gonna last.
It ain't gonna work.
Damn, man, we kicked off. Hey y'all, we ain't gonna. It's next week. We're not gonna be here.
Is it next week? Next Tuesday? Oh yeah. I had did I tell you I had a doctor's appointment or something next? Yeah. The 18th.
Yeah, so we won't be here next Tuesday, but the following Tuesday, I hope y'all we gonna have more to talk about. This
Yeah,
year,
the 14th.
man, the
Yes.
topics have not been disappointing. I'm gonna have to write down some of my favorite early, so when we do the year review, I don't forget some of these stories.
And we just in April, y'all, so it's gonna get better when the summer comes around. We just in spring. When the summer come around, we shall be ready.
Man. Hey, did you want to plug in before we get off? Did you want to plug in the events again that you guys have going on this weekend?
Again, on Instagram, thank you, Knowledge is Power, for joining us. Thanks for everybody else that's watching. Don't forget to comment, share, like, watch the reels that Damo breaks down for the 60 seconds. I don't know how long the reels are, 30 seconds or whatever, when you share the stories.
Sometimes they anywhere from 3 minutes to 60 seconds. So.
Okay, there you go. But tonight, y'all, the D Bling Radio Show, we're going to have good music. Please join us tonight. That is offtopradio.com. That is offtopradio.com. And it will stream on offtoprecords.net. That's offtoprecords.net. And if you have music, a shout out to Tony White. He has dropped his new music on Spotify. So I will be sharing and promoting that, y'all. So be watching that on my Facebook. But anyway, if you have music or know any artist that has music, send it to me at sky.black@gmail.com. That is sky.black@gmail.com. And again, we're here to help. Send your music videos to Mr. Dano so we can play them in between, the show and stuff. Today was just one of them days that we didn't need that buffer. We went straight in. And everybody know what's going on.
You sent me, I'm going to play it in 2 weeks. So when we do Ravine the week after next, we have new music.
Absolutely. So yeah, thank y'all again. I enjoy these Tuesdays. Again, we try to do as many Tuesdays as we can, but my doctor, I had already missed one appointment, so the next one was April 14th. So how can you tell your doctor no? You pay him, so you got to go see him.
Yeah, but hey, man, we thank y'all for being with us, man. Shout out to everybody that was on Bingo, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, like he said, his YouTube, and is there his Facebook also. And if you guys see this, if y'all can share the live, man, even after the show is over with, it would do us a great deal of justice. We really appreciate it. And like I always say before I go, man, if you woke up on this half of the dirt and you go to bed on this half of the dirt, claim victory over the day. And, only thing guaranteed in life is death. So the things that you can control, take control of it. The things that you can't, put it in God's hands. And just be grateful for the moment. Because the next moment, again, is not guaranteed. So cherish life.
That's true. That's correct. All right, y'all. Thank y'all so much.
All right. Peace. We love y'all. We out till the week after next. All right?
All right. Not this Thursday. Tuesday.